We're looking for SJ 84117
Okay.
It's going to be around here somewhere. We've got GPS on the phone. So there's Chorlton Abbey. So effectively that southwest corner is more or less in line with the end of this building. 84130 96092
And then 96085.
Yeah.
So it's going to be approximately there.
We have now come to a conclusion that based on our very scientific methods, that this is the corner of the house we're trying to do. It doesn't match any of the grid references, but it's done by maths.
We've identified what we're arguing is the southwest corner of Chorlton Abbey.
Can we have the chalk, please?
So 40 metres in this case would be about here.
Okay, this is our next point then.
Right, we've got a wall.
It's not really working on moss, but we'll go with it.
Hang on. Let's do this to move some moss. So there,
Yep,
Yeah.
90 degrees.
we're happy with that.
Okay.
I think so.
So now we know what direction we need to go in.
I mean, to be fair, we were like trying to put it on.
So what am I going? 14 again.
And it is 84150.
84150 96084.
Look at it.
That's spot on.
Is it spot on 14?
It's spot on.
There
The
you
power
go.
of maths.
Most of the points that we've done are in the house. Most of the
Pretty
space
much.
between it is in the house.
It's somewhere within the house.
So we've got the sets of plans,
Yeah.
and the plans are 3 options for what to do with the Schunck building.
So bequeathed to Owens College by Edward Schunck for chemical research, removed from Kersal, re-erected here 1904.
You can't possibly re-erect it all in one piece because the landscape was different where it was situated and everything. So the building was built to be on a hill, but then they move it to a place
Where it's not on a hill.
where it's not. So then they have to kind of build up to it and have this strange arrangement.
The laboratory that was donated to the university is effectively, this starts here
Yeah,
and ends there.
yeah.
I had a bit of a problem getting this door open earlier. Well, look at that. Practice makes perfect. For the purposes of our exploration, this is us really.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
everything that's going on in there is probably interesting, but
1900s rather than 1870s.
yeah, it's what the university's done to join together this donated laboratory to the university proper.
Yeah. If previously this entrance was over there,
That would have been the outside wall then,
yes,
because this
That equivalent.
effectively, in Kersal, this would have been an outside wall.
yeah. Again, a big thick wall.
Oh, we've got a skeleton here.
Oh yeah, we have. Ratus, probably. Do you know what? I think we're in the chimney.
It's so mind-bending as you're walking around trying to visualise how things changed.
These designs that surrounding the reading space.
Panel for panel, exactly the same. It includes signs of the zodiac, some Egyptian imagery and classical imagery, the Star of David. Schunck is born in Manchester, but he's born to German heritage. He was really kind of embedded in Manchester and its kind of scientific and intellectual culture. And I find Schunck particularly interesting as an example of the transition point in science in Britain and in the world, really, between your amateur of the kind of 18th century, 17th century, and your professional scientist of the 20th and 21st.
Yeah.
He's both a manufacturer and a scientist as well.
So we could go downstairs and have a look in the labs.
Frankly, Schunck wouldn't have really needed to use the facilities at Owens College because he had this.
Yeah.
He had his own private laboratory, and most universities didn't have laboratories at this time.
Len Johnson lived here in the post-war period in Bold Street in Moss Side. He's one of the most successful middleweight boxers of his generation. He could have fought any of the title winners at the time, but was never given the opportunity because of the colour bar. What we do know is he came here to have drinks with a group of friends. They come in and he's denied service by the licensee of the pub. He describes himself as being embarrassed by this experience, in his own words, as humiliated, and objects to the treatment that he receives. And then the police are called, and the police arrive, and he's asked to leave, which he does. But then over the coming days, he organises a campaign against the colour bar in the Old Abbey Taphouse, and he consults with some of the most prominent political leaders in the city.
Len didn't even drink, so like...
That's right, yeah.
It's not like he turned up here for a pint and got turned away. It was like the community really thought about how they could make a change, and a lot of people will have put the work in to make it happen. Maybe they thought it was a place that they could start the change.
He comes back for another drink with an associate. They sit down to have a drink together, have a discussion with the pub landlord, and the pub landlord changes the position and says that the colour bar will no longer be applied here. But of course that doesn't create a city-wide change. It's just here in the pub. But it is a beginning to the kind of larger struggles that are going to take place throughout the 1940s, 50s, 60s that result in the passage of the Race Relations Act.
And this pub used to be a late night drinking pub for the police.
Oh, that's interesting.
So they used to come here and, doors were locked because it was a pub that was built within a community. And then that community's taken away. The pub's not really got a customer base anymore.
By the time you get to the period of the 60s.
Yeah,
and,
so by removing all that, that story we're talking about, people, their homes are knocked down and they're relocated.
Yeah.
But the pub's left. But you have got the police station just across.
That's interesting.
There.
It's weird because I was thinking about it the other day, we're a community pub, but there's no community directly around us at the moment. They're not on your doorstep. They're not that far away. They're only a road over. They've still got a cobbled street here from... Yeah. from the roads that used to be here.
So the Old Abbey Taphouse is owned by the Science Park. It's a great amenity for the community here. So it's in our interest to keep it going, keep it vibrant, and bring some vibrancy to our community.
You mean the fact that it's a pub?
Yes.
It's the reason it's still
The
here.
reason it was a pub, the fact that it was a pub has probably saved it, if I'm honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hume's very much a mixed race society. It's Afro-Caribbean and Irish heritage, and ever since I've grown up here, it's kind of largely been like that. So it's nice that the story is not just of breaking the colour bar, but like the community coming together.
The main project we're running at the moment is the Taphouse TV dinners, which started on like the eve of the first lockdown when we had some surplus stock that we needed to get rid of. We don't identify a certain type of person, but if you feel that you need a break from cooking for a day, you can apply for it.
There's like a community Meals on Wheels, which started in lockdown, so I suppose an emergency kind of food response, and has kind of carried on just because there's still a need in the area. There's a lot of people that we're feeding. It's kind of the scenario of, eating or heating. It tends to be between about 60 and 70, and we do a main and a pudding, which is we do a meat one and a vegan one, and people can kind of pick, and they can have one or they can have a few. That kind of just keeps them going throughout the week. What would be really, really helpful is to have like links with more surplus food, whether it's through restaurants or different organisations, because basically everything we do now is just paid for by us.
Then it also feeds into the Kickstarter programme that we're running at the moment, which is kind of the second social project that we run. So it's a government-led project which was created to get young people from 16 to 24 back into work after the pandemic.
So they made it quite clear that it was open and people could sort of move forward with the stuff they were interested in. The Old Abbey's been really good in making sure that we do actually get, you know, experience that we can build upon in other ways. But I don't think Kickstart itself guarantees that.
We've already been learning skills that are kind of useful for trying to build your own kind of sort of business in a way, or be part of other businesses, such as, like, you know, we put on live events because we host the open mic, we do the sound for that, and that's something that we have to do. Kind of, they expect us to know how to do that after like a week or two of training.
It's been a really successful project for us, and it means that TV Dinners now has 4 or 5 people in the kitchen every week who are learning and cooking for the community at the same time. Cassie, who's in there today, who you might meet in a bit, has got really into baking cakes and no experience of cooking before she came into working with us. She's 18.
But like everyone went to the Labour Club, and that was like the place to go, and everyone interacted. And there's like cheeky knock-ins, and this, you know, people sharing these stories are now in their 70s, obviously. But then that got shut down. And not
Found out a few weeks ago that Hume comes from a Gaelic meaning small island, and it's weird that it's actually ended up, you know, it is a small island amongst rapidly developing high-rises. It's just nice as well to have a pub as a space where people can they can come and have a coffee and a chat. When, you know, you look around the area now, and most of the pubs are now just bars that are always blaring loud music full of students, and they've sort of excluded the residents.
My preference is teetotal, so that pub doesn't present in that manner. Right. The pub represents as a community hub. As we started into lockdown, I found that the kitchen was still busy, so I thought I'd come and give a hand. My speciality is washing up. pot washer extraordinaire.
Because we get the food out like 5:30, 6, it's quite hard to get it to some people.
Yeah.
But say someone lived
in the area
in East Manchester, then actually we could accommodate more people.
So the Old Abbey Taphouse wanted to make meals for people, but they needed a sort of delivery team. They send us a list of who needs it delivered where, and then we go out and deliver it. If people we're delivering to maybe have a problem or we haven't heard from them in a while, we can, you know, talk to them. We've got that sort of line of communication to them.
Alright, thanks very much. No, it's cool. Exactly on time. See you later.